Hello, it's Thursday. We had a long 7-8 hour travel day to get to Klagenfurt. But as you can see, Wörthersee, absolutely beautiful. Sunset over there. We're halfway through this bike ride, just like 30-45 minutes, easy spin out. And you can already see the buoys for where the swim course is going to be. We're going to start over there at the beach, swim all the way out to this buoy back here, then make our left turn to this buoy, another left turn, and then back to the canal and to T1. Alrighty, let's finish this bike session. Absolutely beautiful scenery. And yeah, another 15-20 minutes back, and then shower and play some cards. That is actually pretty cool. This is the canal we're gonna swim up from down there all the way up into T1. And then we also have the campground right here that we're staying at. Perfect location for a race, perfect spot for the campground, and yeah, should be good. To finish out this shakeout bike session, I checked out the swim exit. After that, we had dinner at the campground. Friday about 11 a.m., time for a 5K easy run to shake out the legs. As you can tell, absolutely beautiful. Like, the color of the water is just amazing, and just in general so pretty. And yeah, we're gonna finish out this run, and then I'm gonna show you what I picked up in the race pickup earlier this morning. Let's do it. Yeah, so earlier today, I headed to the Ironman village right when they opened at 9 a.m. to pick up my race bib and bag. Here you could already see the finish line, and they had all kinds of fun things going on. Let's check out what's in the race bag. First off, you get all the race numbers that you put on your bike, helmet, etc. You get the 3 bags for T1, T2, and the street clothes bag. You get 2 swim caps. You also get your race bib, obviously, 1 pack of AG1, and 1 pack of Morton's Carb Auto, and a bunch of stickers. At 6 p.m. I went over to the race briefing, and everybody was definitely very happy that the swim was most likely going to be wetsuit legal. At around 8 p.m. it was time for an easy swim session, just 2 kilometers, super easy here on the Strandbad, getting familiar with the swim conditions and the wetsuit. The pier, the water, and the beach here is just absolutely amazing, super beautiful, and the sunset in the back just made it even better. The water is so blue and crystal clear that it makes swimming in it super fun. Also, the water temperature was around 22.9 degrees, so super warm, especially in the wetsuit, and you could already see the Ironman swim start as well as all the buoys for the swim course on the beach and in the water. Just completed an open water swim right back here, and I realized something. Even though I'm kind of nervous because of the open water swim, I'm kind of blessed to be able to experience this. Just super fun. Swim was pretty good, honestly, so. Saturday morning I went for another swim, easy 1.5K. After that I headed back to the campground to prepare my transition bags. First, I prepared my red transition bag, basically the run transition bag for T2, added my shoes and the race fuel I needed. Then I moved on to the blue one for T1. Stuff that I put in this bag includes the helmet, socks, obviously the bib number, as well as race fuel. I also put the race numbers on my bike and headed over to the bike check-in. Here I racked my bike and then walked over to drop off my transition bags. T1 and T2 are the same transition zone here. It was super easy. I just walked over and basically hung them right on top of each other. After completing the drop-off, I headed back to the campground, which was only like a 10-minute walk away, and checked out the swim exit one more time. With that, we were ready for the big day. With that, it was race morning, and once I was done nervously trying on the Ironman swim cap with my goggles, we headed over to the swim start. Here we had quite a lot of time. The first amateurs went in the water around 6:40 a.m. For me, I planned on lining up anywhere between 1 hour and 20 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes, with 1 hour and 20 minutes really being my goal for the swim. This meant that we had quite a lot of time once we got to the swim start, and I probably didn't get into the water until like 7:20-ish, I would say. However, the swim start was absolutely beautiful and the atmosphere was great. And soon enough, it was time to get in the water. I got into the water and honestly felt pretty good. The atmosphere at the swim start was just amazing, with the announcers, the music, and the spectators, almost making you feel like you were floating through the water. My dad caught this cool footage of me getting in the water right here. Let's take a quick second to check out the swim course. So the swim course consists out of a long, about 1.3 kilometer stretch out into the open water, then a left turn, and a 500 meter segment to the next left turn, which would bring you back towards land for 1 kilometer. Then for the last kilometer you entered the canal here, but that was still ways to go as I started off the swim. Throughout the swim I felt pretty great. I was passing people left and right, which definitely gave me more confidence, but I was still trying to be mindful of not overpacing. As mentioned, for the last K we entered a canal. Here, the sides were just lined with spectators, and the atmosphere was absolutely contagious. I made my way through the canal. Obviously, with how narrow it was, it got a little harder to navigate in some places with so many swimmers around you, but it was still such a fun experience, and I felt like I was able to hold my pace even until the end. Feelings-wise, my goal of 1 hour and 20 minutes for the swim seemed to be in reach, and I was hopeful to even secure a better swim time than my goal. Slowly, I made my way through the last K here in the canal. I was trying to focus on my technique even towards the end, as fatigue started to creep in. And soon enough, the exit was ahead. I made my way out of the water in 1 hour and 13 minutes, which I was super happy with, through the about half a mile transition zone into T1. After about an 8-minute transition, we were on the bike, ready for the 180k bike ride. Let's take a quick look at the course. This 2-loop course is absolutely beautiful through the mountains on the side of the Wörthersee, but as you might be able to tell, it's definitely pretty hilly for an Ironman race. Over 1,800 meters of elevation definitely took its toll. In addition to the heat that day, on the bike course it got up to 35 degrees Celsius, and with the steep climbs definitely taking a toll. The first lap of this bike course was still fairly cool, but it began heating up pretty rapidly, so hydrating and refueling was key. I made sure to take at least 2 bottles every aid station and made sure to cool my body with the water throughout the whole ride. On the second lap, the first half still was pretty good, but then it really started to heat up to about 36 degrees Celsius, with 2 of the steepest climbs coming up towards the end. The last 30k of the bike ride were definitely the hardest part of the Ironman for me, and I definitely overheated a little, which would go on to affect me for the rest of the race. Somehow I made it into T2. I definitely overheated a little bit, but made it out onto the run course. From here on, my goal was just to finish the Ironman, but the sun was still out at 4 p.m, definitely making it super hard. I ran a couple kilometers in the beginning, then I had to dial it down to a fast walk because my body was definitely overheating. The run course itself is super pretty. It basically takes you along the Wörthersee on the left, just past the finish stadium, for about a 10k out and back into a cute little neighborhood. Then you come back and you head towards downtown Klagenfurt for a 10k out and back. Here, it takes you through the beautiful old historic downtown. Again, this is a 2-loop course. I was definitely feeling it by this point, and the heat was definitely making me suffer. So with my goal of just finishing, I definitely took it slow. I knew I had 8 hours at this point, so even if I just walked a whole marathon, I would end up in Ironman. But just around the 15-kilometer mark, things started to cool down a little bit, and I decided to run for about 8k. After that, my stomach really made me suffer, and I had to slow down again. But I was still able to move, even though it was at a super slow pace. But as I said, I knew if I just kept moving, I would be able to finish the Ironman. You'd think it would cool down a little bit as it got dark, but it was super humid, and it didn't really cool down, even in the darkness. So my stomach and the heat and humidity definitely all added up and didn't really allow me to push the pace. However, after about 6 hours of mostly walking and not a lot of running, I made it back to the finish line and the stadium right at the beach of Wörthersee, where I was greeted by what everybody that competes in an Ironman wants to hear.
You are